What's going on, guys? It's TheMightyDart13 back again, and this is my video for the Canadian Grand Prix. Obviously, the last one was very late. The last two race reviews were really late. Obviously, the Spanish Grand Prix was about 2-3 weeks late, and Monaco was... well, no, I think actually Spain was about a month late, where Monaco was about 2 weeks down. Obviously, I'll put him out on the Saturday of qualifying. Yes, obviously back on the grind with that now, so obviously this is my race review for the Canadian Grand Prix. So, before the race had even started, obviously there was a lot of focus on Fernando Alonso, who was racing his 300th Grand Prix. And all he needed to do was finish the race, and he would have overtaken Michael Schumacher for the most finished Grand Prix, I believe it is. But there was drama before the race had even begun, so in qualifying, Romain Grosjean come down the pit lane, driving down normally. His engine expired, which left a lovely smoky pit lane. So Grosjean not had a lot of luck this season, hasn't scored any points. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Grosjean, really. I like him as a driver. I mean, I like Haas. They're probably the team I sort of follow. Yeah, but obviously his engine expired, so not the best race. And we also heard that Toro Rosso approached Lando Norris, who is the McLaren, I think it's reserve or junior driver, and asked Norris to asked McLaren if they could have Norris to replace Brendan Hartley, and McLaren basically said no, which says a lot about, you know, I mean, Hartley's been saying, look, I'm fine, the team are fine with me, this, that and the other, and it shows how much pressure he's under. Brendan Hartley, personally, I don't know why he got the F1 drive in the first place. I mean, personally, I would have, if they could have swung it, I know he's a Ferrari young driver, but if they could have got it so that he's actually in the race. I know he's a test driver at Alfa Romeo, but you know, someone like Antonio Giovinazzi would have been a nice driver to see. Even maybe, you know, someone, I wouldn't say Kvyat because he's now cut ties with Red Bull and he's now a Ferrari test driver. But I'd be, there's a few drivers. I'd love to see Sebastian Buemi come back. Sorry, because I think he'd be a good choice. But Hartley's days in Toro Rosso look numbered. He's not been as good this season. So onto the race itself, there's really not a lot of talking points. The main one was a crash between Lance Stroll and Kieran Hartley on the first lap. So just after the chicane, I believe it was, you had Hartley try and go around the outside of Lance Stroll, and Stroll lost the rear end, which pushed Hartley onto the barrier, or the tyre bundle, and then he basically ended up, in essence, mounting Stroll's car. As for who was at fault, it was a racing incident, but a lot of people said, oh, it's Stroll's fault, he did this, he did that, and well, that's partially true because he did lose the rear. Hartley was taking a risk in that. Hartley was taking that risk by going around the outside, so he left himself open to that. With Stroll, he was running that risk of Stroll losing the rear end, such as he did, and ended up in the barriers. And as for Alonso, his 300th Grand Prix didn't end the way he wanted. He retired on lap 40 with, I think it was gearbox or engine issues. It's a shame for him because I would have loved him to have finished. I'm a big fan of Fernando, and I still stand by the thing he won't be at McLaren next season. Honestly, I can see him retiring. He's racing in the Le Mans 24-hour race alongside Formula F. Well, not alongside, but he has. He's racing with Jenson Button, and there's a few other ex-F1 drivers, including Vitaly Petrov, who's on JB's team. And it came out after the race that Max Verstappen had actually gone solo for the first time. Obviously, in qualifying, he had a little dig at the media by saying, oh, I guess I don't need to change my driving style then. But he didn't have his dad there or anything like that. And I think a lot of people are saying that it's not, the reason Max is the way he is because his dad's there, and in some ways it kind of shows he's maturing as a driver by going on his own. He had a very good race, he drove solidly, ended up finishing third ahead of his teammate and Lewis Hamilton But yeah, I mean, as for your top 5, it was Vettel who went lights to flag, just absolutely nailed it. Bottas in second, who did very well to defend from Max Verstappen, maybe starting to show a little bit more now. I think with Daniel Ricciardo available, even though Mercedes have said, look, our next driver will come from within the Mercedes programme, I personally think Ricciardo is going to go to Merc, unless, of course, Raikkonen retires at the end of the season, and I think he'll go to Ferrari. And then Red Bull, I hope, will call up Pierre Gasly. So, yeah. But Lewis Hamilton, the Mercs in general were just off the pace. Lewis didn't have the best weekend, jumped in the pits by Ricciardo. And I think firmly with that, I mean, with Vettel retaking the Drivers' Championship title lead, I think it's very much in Vettel's hands. Merc are awaiting I believe it's a new engine or something. They're awaiting a new engine, which would have come through, but there was a problem with the camshafts. So potentially new engine for Merc, but they've not been as good this year. They've not had the sort of same impacts. And you look at it, and it's because it is the Merc fundamentally is crap in dirty air in the dirty air of the car ahead. Obviously, when in the basic thing, dirty air is where obviously the air's come through the car in front. Now, F1 cars you want to drive behind for slipstream, but the problem is you also get hot, the air coming out the engine, which is boiling hot, and obviously because the front wings are so advanced now and all that, it's kind of all gone. You know, it's very, very overly complicated, and Mercedes seem to exacerbate this quite severely. Their car is just no good in dirty air, which is quite a shame. I mean, Mercedes should be at the front challenging Ferrari, sorry, although Red Bull are in the fight as well, which says a lot. I mean, personally, I would like to see Mercedes and I'd like to see Hamilton and Vettel going toe to toe. I think that's what every F1 fan wants. We want a proper ding-dong battle, them fighting every lap of every race. But then again, the tyres were called into question again, because drivers were driving slowly, having to preserve the tyre life yet again. So, yeah, people are not happy with the tyres. They're just not what they should be. So I don't really know where to go. A lot of people are saying they'd love to see like the Bridgestone tyres, so like a 1-2 stop race, where the drivers can just slam the fuck out of the tyres, drive like a maniac, and just be fine on them. Yeah, overall, from what I saw of the race, it wasn't the best race. Obviously, there was a mistake as well, where the woman who was waving the flag was told to wave it a lap early, which kind of Vettel complained about, so did Raikkonen. So, yeah, but overall I'd give it a 5 out of 10. It wasn't the best race. I mean, the most exciting part, sadly, was the crash. But yeah, obviously it's the French Grand Prix next, so we are returning to the circuit Paul Ricard, I believe. And my top 3 prediction for that is going to be I'm going to say Vettel to get pole, Hamilton second, and Verstappen again third. Then the race, I'm going to go Hamilton, Vettel, and Ricciardo. Verstappen crashing out. But yeah, obviously, one talking point that's come up recently with Lance Stroll is he made a comment in the race before, so Monaco, saying what are we even doing here, this, that and the other, and a lot of people got annoyed with that. Now, I was chatting to one of my friends who said, oh yeah, well, how is Stroll even in the sport? And he's a pay driver, fundamentally. He is there because he paid for that seat. But the interesting thing is with Williams going backwards, should they maybe sign a deal with someone like McLaren, someone like Red Bull, or not Red Bull, but someone, one of the bigger teams, so that they can get an influx of cash. Obviously, it won't happen with Red Bull or even really Ferrari because they have Haas and Alpha. But do you sort of... Does Stroll deserve his F1 seat? For one, I don't think he does. I think he's a spoiled brat who, frankly, should be nowhere near an F1 car because he's been shit. Yes, he got a podium last year in Baku, but that was more luck than anything else. But do I think... Who do I think should replace him? There's so many drivers. Robert Kubica. I think he should be... I think if Lance Stroll has another bad race, give Kubica the race seat. He deserves it. He's worked his arse off to get back into Formula 1. But yeah, that's the end of this video anyway, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Yeah, leave it in the comments below. Your top 3 prediction for France, and does Lance Stroll deserve to be in Formula 1? So yeah, I've given my opinion, time for you to give yours. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next one.